May the Lord give this council the wisdom, discernment and courage to serve the community, but also that we may act compassionately and with integrity in the best interest of this Shire. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. I would like to show respect and acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land and elders past, present and future on which this meeting takes place. This meeting is being recorded and those in attendance should refrain from making any defamatory statements. There are to be no other recordings of this meeting without the prior authorization of council. So councillors Brown, Fisher and Burns on Zoom, you can hear us all right?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Thank you. And we've got Mr. Ray Hines there somewhere.
Yeah, welcome.
You can hear us, Ray.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello,
Thank you very much.
councillors.
Okay, councillors, there's only the one item on the extraordinary meeting. Any apologies?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Disclosure of interest?
Nil received.
Notice of motions? And we just got the, Mr. Ray Hines is actually, he won't be doing a presentation, but he'll be on Zoom there if any councillors wish to ask him a question.
So, Mr. Mayor, may I clarify, is Mr. Hines going to give a presentation before I move the motion now?
Yeah, when we get to it, yep. Mr. Hines is only there in case councillors wish to ask him a question. He won't be doing a presentation.
Yeah, he's asked not to make a presentation, but he'll be available to answer questions in terms of his submission.
Okay, council, we'll move straight on to NM 11.1, Interim Heritage Order, Murrundi Hospital. There's a motion there in front.
Moved.
Move, Councillor Abbott.
I'll second.
Second by.
Yep, I'll second it.
Well,
I think Lee was first.
Lee, I think Councillor Watts beat you, Councillor Brown.
Okay, I can do with that.
Okay, so Councillor Abbott.
Thank you. So the motion is the council as soon as possible seeks a current interim heritage order for the old Murrurundi Wilson Memorial Hospital building in order to halt the imminent demolition process while council resubmits its application for state listing to Heritage Council and awaits the Heritage Council's decision. The Wilson Memorial Hospital was designed by the renowned architect, Mr. George McRae, who also designed the Queen Victoria building and the lower and top entrances of Taronga Park Zoo. The National Trust considers the Wilson Memorial Hospital to be an important building, and they intend to list it on their Buildings to Protect register. The Upper Hunter Shire Council's state listing application of the Wilson Memorial Hospital was a very sound submission, but it was refused by the Heritage Council because of a cover letter provided by Hunter New England Health Infrastructure Team obfuscating building integrity issues with respect to recent hospital extensions, but which did not apply to the old Wilson Memorial Hospital building. It has come to light, and this is of note too, that 3 project team members for the proposed new hospital construction have admitted that their heritage investigation was inadequate. I have been informed that the Murrurundi community fully understands. Is there a problem?
Sorry.
Right. I'll just repeat that. I have been informed that the Murrurundi community fully understands that recent hospital extensions done over the years need to be demolished to make way for the new hospital. The Murrurundi community does not understand why the old Wilson Memorial Hospital, with its brand new roof, has to be demolished. The Murrurundi community wants the imminent demolition of the old Wilson Memorial Hospital to be halted immediately so that the Upper Hunter Shire Council can resubmit the state listing application to the Heritage Council as soon as possible. The Murrurundi community is concerned that Murrurundi history could be lost because of the health authorities' error in their own heritage investigation. The Murrurundi community is dismayed at the health authorities' intransigence to reconsider the Murrurundi community's wish to preserve their old hospital while simultaneously looking forward to the completion of their new hospital, and they believe that the two are not mutually exclusive. I am concerned that there appears to be a major imbalance of power between the health authorities in New South Wales and the wishes of the Murrurundi community, notwithstanding that New South Wales Health and Hunter New England Health have been aware of the Murrurundi community's desire to preserve the old Wilson Memorial Hospital from the start. A current interim heritage order would cost council no money, nor put council at any financial risk. Instead, it would demonstrate to the Murrurundi community that Upper Hunter Shire Council takes their concerns seriously. We have received an extraordinary amount of submissions from the Murrurundi community and beyond, in fact, even as far as the northern edge of New South Wales. And these submissions express an overwhelming desire for us as councillors to support the Murrurundi community's wishes to try as hard as we can to save this beautiful old building. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Abbott. We've got a speaker against the motion. Councillor Fisher.
Yes, I will. I should probably explain my position on this to the wider community. I think the fundamental point is that council cannot halt the demolition anyway. It's a Crown asset, a Crown development, and as such is exempt from any interim heritage order that council could or could not levy upon it. So in effect, it's an exercise in futility, what we're going through now. Further, I don't believe that it is our jurisdiction. This is between that part of the community that wants to preserve the hospital and New South Wales Health. It's between that part of the community and the State Minister, Michael Johnson. Now, I spoke to Michael about this issue probably 6 weeks ago and again about 10 days ago. And the last conversation I had with him reflected that there really was nothing that could be done. We've also just received a submission from New South Wales Health, and I think that should be put together with all the other submissions, as it makes some very fundamental points. This new hospital was explained at great length, and the community was consulted in great detail about this project. They were offered choices, and this was what they chose. Forcing or trying to force delays and an extensive redesign at this stage is neither fair nor warranted, and will necessarily add cost to this project, whose budget has stood for a long time and has been accepted. Now, do New South Wales Health even have the budget to rectify and restore that old part of the building? I don't know. The cost implications are unknown on them, and I think this is an unnecessary delay to a hospital in the middle of a global pandemic. This building was never listed in our local environment plan, perhaps mistakenly, but it never was. And the building was also submitted by council to the OEH for listing, and they rejected that application. And I think that omission and the rejection would fundamentally undermine any application which we would make. And we know already that we do not have the power to stop the scheduled building works from being carried out. You know, with regard to financial costs, saying that there's no risk, but I have little doubt that council will end up footing the bill for maintaining and upkeeping this building into the future. It would be another asset to maintain for all the ratepayers of the Shire, to house functions already housed in a centrally located and better located memorial hall in the centre of Murrurundi. So I won't be supporting the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Fisher. We missed a little bit of your presentation there. You froze on screen, but does anyone wish for him to go through any of that again, or are we happy with what we heard? Everyone's happy? Thank you. So, Councillor Watts, do you want to speak against?
Yes. I support Councillor Abbott in that council seek a current interim heritage order for the old Murrurundi Wilson Memorial Hospital building. Our role as councillors is to support our communities and support their wishes. I have been conflicted. I will be very truthful about this in making this decision, but I believe that if there is an option to support the Murrurundi community in their quest to preserve and retain the old Wilson Memorial Hospital building, I believe it is our duty to do so. And while I agree with Councillor Fisher's words, I don't believe just because it says that we can't do it, it doesn't mean we shouldn't voice our opinion about it and support our community members. I note Hunter New England Health state that the existing hospital is excess to their requirements. However, this is not what the community are asking. They wish to preserve and use this building as a community structure. I said above I was conflicted as the information I have received from different parties and from the New England Health are two different versions of what there is. My understanding is there is not an asbestos risk and it has a new roof, which is quite clearly in the tabled letter we've just received that that's not what they're saying in that. So there is a minimal cost and no risk to council. So I do urge my councillors, my fellow councillors, to reconsider and support this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Watts. Have we got any speakers against the motion? Councillor Campbell?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think Councillor Abbott has put her points forward very eloquently. But however, I just also a number of points. First of all, I don't believe that this is a council issue. It should have been taken direct to the Hunter New England Health. We have now they had the community submissions and that sort of thing that come in consultation, and that's reflected here, and the results are reflected in this particular letter. I remember that coming forward, and I was initially thought that maybe perhaps that it could be the existing hospital could be kept, but I also refer this to on the back page, which I thought was and one of the reasons why I agreed with it. For these reasons, name the new facility to remain Murrurundi Wilson Memorial Hospital to acknowledge the historical connection with the Wilson family. Retention of the front facade of the existing hospital brick section to provide a shade structure to the community garden. That I thought was very important, that people will see that obviously this is what was built there. Incorporating installations from the existing building on the hospital campus, a landscaping feature, historical displays, time capsule, reinstallation of plaques, local stories collating in a book for display in the waiting area. The difficulty being with keeping old structures that they cost money to maintain. And as history will show, that we find that council is the one, all the ratepayers, not the ones just of Murrurundi area, but all of the Shire will be paying for these historical structures to be maintained and kept. It is noted that the Hunter New England Health and that they are not going to pay for the restoration of the old building if it was to be kept. The inside of the out, there is asbestos still inside. Maybe it's safe at this stage, but asbestos is asbestos. It still retains a problem in future years. I just think that the historical part of the Wilson Memorial Hospital, as outlined in those 6 or 7 points, will be remembered, and I think that's a very practical way of remembering the significance of the Wilson Memorial Hospital. And so I'm sorry, but I will not be supporting the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. Councillor, you've got the right to reply. Just ask, anyone else wish to speak for or against?
Mr. Mayor, may I speak, please?
Councillor Brown.
Thank you very much. Look, I'll just I'll keep my remarks brief. I was disappointed when the New South Wales Heritage refused our application to have this building listed, and I will just reiterate the reasons why I think it's important that it is listed that I made last time. Those haven't changed. I'd just like to make a comment though on the consultation that was undertaken with the community. I think that there's a very clear view that the Murrurundi community does not want to see the new hospital not proceed to completion, and I would like to, have that finished as soon as possible. My understanding is that the building that we're speaking about doesn't interfere with the continuation of the project. It will mean that there will have to be a little bit of reworking around car parking facilities, and I think some accommodation for nurses. I could stand corrected. But I think it's important to note that the consultation that was undertaken by Health a couple of years ago was based on a number of fairly serious misrepresentations about the condition of the building. A report that was until recently not made available to the public has since been made available, and it's the building condition report. And it does confirm that that there's no asbestos in the building that poses any risk. And I don't think that there is any. The roof has been repaired. It doesn't leak. There are a whole, and I just think that if we don't try and stop the demolition of this building, then we're not going to, I don't think the proposed adaptive reuse of the heritage items properly respects the true value of this building, not just to the people of Murrundi and the families that have been born and died there, but also to the work of the former New South Wales government architect who designed it, along with Queen Victoria Building at the entrance to the Taronga Park Zoo. But I also think that it's a missed opportunity. The opportunity cost of losing a building that would cost over $1 million to build, a facility to perhaps have in place a wellness centre or some other community facility that can work within complementarily with the hospital services, and also provide the community with facilities that they need. I fear that that if this motion gets up, that our efforts will be unsuccessful. I think Health is determined to bulldoze through that building at the soonest opportunity, and I just hope that this motion doesn't in fact hasten that process. But I'm pleased to support the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. So no other councillor, no other councillors? No. I'll give Councillor Abbott the right to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In my closing remarks, I'd like to say we must listen to the Murrurundi community. Back at the beginning of this health infrastructure process, the Murrurundi community was presented with an either-or choice. Yet over the years, it's become clear that it was never such a binary choice. We now know from information provided to us by passionate community champions that the old part of Wilson Memorial Hospital is a sound building with a brand new roof. And even the new roof episode is basically a blot on the way public money is spent. This building was prescribed to be demolished, yet when the insurance for the hailstorm damage acquired years before on the roof, when that came to fruition, a new roof was installed on a building set to be demolished. What a waste of money and what a waste of materials that would have been if that were to have been Wilson Memorial Hospital's fate. But we as a council can help stop that. The building has been valued at $2.5 million. Are we, the Upper Hunter Shire Council, really going to stand by and watch the wanton destruction of such a beautiful building? Last year, the Wilson Memorial Hospital had centenary celebrations. It was 100 years old. It was built in 1919 and last year was 2019. And it was a wonderful milestone to reach. It was a happy time, and the Wilson family, whose ancestor donated the land for the hospital, were invited and they were included in the celebrations. The Wilson family today have sent in many submissions to council, imploring us to do what we can to save this lovely old building. There is a vibrant arts council in Murrurundi with lots of plans for Wilson Memorial Hospital if it can be saved. A wellness centre, a gallery, and so much more. This is community, and how lucky we are to have it. History is layered, and Wilson Memorial Hospital is part of ours, as the new hospital will be part of it too. The submissions are heartfelt, poetic, nostalgic, and full of hope and promise of what could be to come. And I can't help but now quote from the submission of Di Van Balen, a concerned Murrurundi resident and a dear friend of mine, where she quotes from the song, Big Yellow Taxi, they paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Please not let that be us as a council. We do know what we've got, and it doesn't have to be gone. It just doesn't. And as the chair of the Heritage Committee and as a councillor, I urge my fellow Heritage Committee members, Councillor Driscoll and Councillor Burns and the other councillors here today, to please vote with me to seek an interim heritage order. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Abbott. Councillor Burns, is it with me? Councillor Burns?
Yeah, I just have a question for staff, Mr. Mayor. The interim heritage order that is being sought, what effect does that have and what staff time does it require?
Through Mr. Mayor, in this case, the council can't actually make an interim heritage order on this property because it is Crown land and it's a Crown development. So all we could do is ask the minister to make a IHO on that development. But essentially what it does, it means that you can't undertake any demolition work or any sort of development on that land without the approval of the consent authority.
Okay.
Just to follow up on that. So sorry, Mr. Mayor, if I could just ask, the consent authority has already consented to the demolition. So does us voting today put a cease to that, considering that it's ministerial anyway?
No, through you, Mr. Mayor, it's up to the minister to make that decision. If the interim heritage order should be made on that property. If it was, then I guess it would stop the demolition.
Okay, councillors. Mr. Hines is still there. Has any councillors got any questions to Mr. Hines? No questions? Okay, councillors, we'll put the motion up. Those in favour of the motion as is, raise their hands. 1, 2, 3. Those against? 3, 4, 5. So the motion has been lost. Okay, councillors, that's the end of the agenda. So I declare the meeting closed at 4:24. Thank you.